right, day 2 in the bodyweight bodybuilding. Today is all about chest and triceps. Got a lot of new things for you today. I got my bodyweight master set up. Hanging from that are the suspension trainers. Today we're using the monkii bars 2. My buddy Dan Vincent, brand new podcast, the Live Wild or Die podcast. Highly recommend you check that out. Also sporting some new threads. Official RDP merch is down below, but the tank top feels really good for big range of motion exercises like we're going to be using today. And of course, as always, Enzo is here providing emotional support. She's my emotional support kitty, because damn, these workouts are going to be pretty tough. I'll also be, of course, answering your questions. You can level at the RDP Instagram or email as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, we'll start off with just some basic stretching out here. Get the shoulders loosened up a little bit while the cat knocks around the tripod. I don't know how she knows it. She knows when I hit that record button. She's like, I gotta mess this all up. And we'll get some bilateral push-ups just to warm on up. Boy, it has been a while since I've done these. You can see by the shaking, have not done suspension training push-ups in a long time. Just about 10, 15 or so. Concentrating, keeping the glutes tight, getting lots of motion in the scaps. Shoulder blades come apart, shoulder blades come together. Come apart, come together. Oh, get the abs turned on. Little circles, wax on, wax off action. Just getting everything turned on. Triceps, shoulders, down low, shift around. All right, I think we're ready to kick this into high gear. All right, first set, little suspension trainer archer push-ups here. Doing archer push-ups on a suspension trainer is way different than doing them on the floor, especially with the instability action that you get. So my right arm is the main pusher, left arm is the stabilizer. And for some reason, I find this just hits the chest a little bit better. I'll get about 10 reps each side. Yes, and so, one more. Whew. I think that's about 10. I can't talk and count at the same time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Really getting in the chest. Hoo-ah. Chest flies. Next up. 1, 2. It's very important to keep the shoulders down with these flies. You don't want them hunching up. 3. 4. 5. Whoa, does that burn? 9. Getting shallow as I get tired. Oh, boy. I can already tell I'm going to be sore in the chest tomorrow from this. Now, one of the things about using the bodyweight master is if it's not bolted down to the floor, it's easy to tip over if you lean too much. So a lot of suspension training exercises that really involve a big angle in the body, not really that appropriate for this. You kind of need to place more downward pressure and weight, which is what I'm doing in this. But that's okay, because when you need to get at a greater angle for things like tricep extensions, you just shorten the straps that you're using, like here. So it's not too much of a detriment. So we got tricep extensions coming up next. One's just a hair too short. These monkii bars have these nice integrated notches on the strap, so you can kind of quantify the height versus like if it's not notched and you're like, well, is that high enough or not high enough? So they're always perfectly level. Triceps extensions. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Deep range of motion. 6, 7, 2 more, just because I feel like it. 11. And 12. Woohoo! All right, and the final exercise in our first round here, dips. And again, I haven't done these on monkey bars in quite a while. So let's see if I can't get a good solid 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. All right, while I'm recovering from that first round, let's get to question number 1, which is, Matt, what do you think about meal replacement shakes like these Soylents and stuff like that? Well, it might surprise you to learn that I'm actually a big fan of these sorts of things because I'm not a supplement guy. I've never really believed there's a whole lot of benefit to it. I'll take real, honest, whole food over anything that comes from a pouch or a supplement any day of the week. But when it comes to using these things as like a meal replacement, there are several big advantages to it. One is it's very convenient, saves you time, can potentially save you a lot of money, maybe save you a lot of calories. So if you're trying to lose weight or manage your calories a little bit more, it could be very good. They can be nutritionally pretty sound from a vitamin and mineral standpoint. You can blend other things into it like fruit or kale and stuff to increase the nutritional quality. Where I have my reservations on these though is if they stick to it, or the stick to it, like do they satisfy you? Now, personally, if I ever do like a protein shake or something, it's like through a goose. If I have a protein shake after a workout, I am famished and starving within like half an hour. So that's one thing I would be conscious of is, can you consume like a Soylent for lunch and be fine through dinner? Because it doesn't work if you're still very hungry a short period of time afterwards and you end up eating anyway. Because remember, the only difference between a weight loss shake and a weight gain shake is whether it's replacing a meal or you're consuming it in addition to a meal. So it's not really different what it is, it's how you're using it. But again, it's not necessary. If you don't like these things, you don't need it to lose weight or build muscle or do anything. It's just another tool in the toolbox. All right, archer push-ups, round 2. Here we go. Oh boy. Yeah, that hurt. Chest is going crazy. 3. Now I'm trying to really get most of my weight on my right arm. I don't want much weight on my left arm here. It doesn't make sense to do archer push-ups when your weight is still 50-50 between the two. The whole idea is to get most weight onto one arm. Keeping it in tight. Right into the next one. No rest. 1, 2, 3. Last 2, come on. Little loosen up. Let's just do things the hard way, because that's the way we do things here at the Red Delta Project. Jump right into the flies here. No adjustment, no rest off. Oh gosh. Back it up just a hair, make it harder. Refreshing break. There we go. So for the second round, I brought the handles up, but not as much. So being a little bit lower puts more weight onto my hands, and that makes a little bit more resistance. Oh yeah. Still keeping the shoulders apart. Protracted the whole time. That little pause at the bottom kills off the momentum, makes the muscles work even harder. All right, round 2 on the dips. Man, my triceps, I'm already feeling it back there. This is not going to be easy. Let's see if I can get, oh hell, let's go for 15, shall we? And just make it really high number. No pain, no gain. Yeah, right. Okay, hit a wall real fast on that one. Let me get those buckles out of the way. So that was 6 with a sloppy 7. Let me make it at least 10 here. Getting a lot of intensity today, just getting dialed in. Feels good, feels real good. Nope, not happening. But that's what Coach Dan John has called it, like an appropriate or a good fail. He always said, like, when you start to fail and you're like coming up and you're like squirreling and worming all over a place trying to make it happen, that's bad fail. That's when people get hurt. And the quality of the rep goes down. Good fail is when you're up and you're just not moving and you're like, nope. That's good fail. Much safer, much more effective for both body and mind. On to the next question, which is, Matt, unilateral exercises, will they cause muscle imbalances? Now, it goes as no surprise that I'm a huge fan of unilateral movements, like those archer push-ups, where one side of the body is working differently than the other. And the old argument was that this has a lot of functional carryover, largely because we don't use our body bilaterally all the time, especially when it comes to training the legs. But I'm a big fan because it actually helps to smooth out imbalances between your right and left side. When you do something on one side then the other, you're creating a contrast and comparative awareness of how you're using your body. So if you're doing archer push-ups on the right side, and then it's like, oh, that feels different. I don't feel it as much, or I feel it more in my chest or something. Your brain starts analyzing, going to work, saying, so why is it different? What is it? Is it a shoulder thing? Is it a muscle tension thing? And by making the two more even between the two, you actually smooth out your muscle imbalances. All right, and speaking of which, final round here. We'll go for 3 rounds, archer push-ups. 10 on one side, 10 on the other. Back it up just a hair. And other side. It's definitely appropriate to be using a wide stance with this because the straps prevent the arm from really coming underneath to a large degree. So a wider stance may be more prudent than if you're doing them on the floor. And onto the flies. So last tricep extension here, but I wanted to field a question that I get quite often about this, where people will get down and say, oh, that kind of is tender on the elbows. What's going on? Well, a couple things. One is your elbows may not be used to applying force that angle, so it's a little bit tender. So if that's the case, just use half ranges of motion. But the biggest reason is because people often push like they're trying to push their hand away from them. What that does is it can create more stress in the point of the elbow and the ligaments. So what you want to do while you're practicing any sort of elbow or tricep extension bodyweight style is to kind of feel like you're pulling a little bit. That engages more in the rear delt and in the lat because you get your arm stability from your back. And this can handle the stress a heck of a lot more than your elbow. So even though my hands are out in front of me, I'm still keeping my lats engaged and keeping a little bit of pulling tension here. And I don't feel a damn thing in my elbows. But boy, my triceps are screaming. And you'll see sometimes when people do this, they kind of pull a little bit in at the top. That's a good way to emphasize that pulling tension. And sometimes the push happens when the hands go too far up, where you see that. So instead, keep it in fairly close to the face. But keep the rear delts and the lats engaged the whole time. I've been talking to you, so I have no idea what number I'm on. I'll just get 2 more reps here real quick. All right, last but not least, final set of dips. I mean, right now, just putting my hands into my handles here, my arms are already like, I don't want to do this. Don't make me do this again. But there's a bigger part of me that says, shut up, arms. You got to do these dips. So that's what we do. It's the part of you that wants it more than doesn't want it, I guess. It's like the whole idea of, the good wolf versus the bad wolf, which one takes over? It's the one you feed. Well, time to eat up. Yeah. And that is that. So thank you very much for accompanying me here on my workout. Once again, there's links down below for monkey bars, Bodyweight Master, RDP merch, everything you see in this video. If you have questions or comments for future videos, leave them down below in the RDP community. And as always, please like, share, subscribe. You know all that fancy stuff that they tell you need to do on social media these days. I'll talk to you guys next time. Until then, be fit, live free.